From the Alex Trebek stage at Sony Picture Studios, this is Inside Jeopardy!
Hello and welcome back to Inside Jeopardy, your exclusive and official podcast destination for all things happening in the world of Jeopardy! I'm Sarah Foss, and I'm joined today once again by Buzzy Cohen.
Happy Memorial Day, Sarah.
Happy Memorial Day, Buzzy. We meet in May. It's almost over. I can't believe it.
Unbelievable. What a season it's been, too. I mean...
What a season and what a month. We had, of course, the conclusion of Masters, which is exciting because everyone knows all hail the Queen.
Queen Victoria.
She is our Season 2 Jeopardy Masters champion. We're going to have highlights of how the semifinals wrapped up and also the finals for Masters coming up later in the pod. But first up, we also have to say May is a big month because our own Ken Jennings turned 50.
I
May
cannot
23rd.
believe that. He does not look a day over 35.
Yeah, he was actually talking with Jimmy, and Jimmy was like, hey, welcome to the 5th floor, Ken. And Ken's like, you're 50? And Jimmy's like, yeah, I'm 58. So,
oh my God, that just blew my mind. The
Best
two of them must be
looking-
taking the stem cell baths together.
What are they
something.
doing? We need to do more of it. It is good. You know, we actually taped on his birthday.
Right.
We couldn't have him come all the way from Seattle to Culver City on his actual birthday and not celebrate. In fact, a few months ago, his wife, Mindy, said to me, Sarah, I'm not going to be able to be there for his birthday, but I just want to make sure you guys know that it'll actually be when you're taping. I said, we've got it, Mindy, we've got it. And boy, podcast producers Alexa and Carlos and myself, we also double as the party team.
The party planning committee?
We were busy. We came up with this idea that when Ken walked out, it would be so cool if the whole audience had one of those faces that you hold up with a stick. So we went and found all of these photos from Ken throughout his life, whether it was baby Ken, toddler Ken, child Ken, teenage Ken, contestant Ken, host Ken. And then we put different birthday hats on them and had them printed. So everyone in the audience was handed one. We had all the staff come down to stage as well. They were holding the heads. We had people in the booth had the heads. We turned off the feed so Ken wouldn't know this was all happening. And then we had Johnny Gilbert record a special announce. So Johnny said, and now on his 50th birthday, here's the host of Jeopardy, Ken Jennings. Ken walks out. Everyone had their heads up. Meanwhile, I'm running backstage because I had to do the fake contestant announce.
Right.
Running backstage to light his birthday cookie platter because he's not a cake guy. He loves chocolate chip cookies.
Okay.
So I'm lighting the 50 candles so that we can bring that out. And then Johnny said, what do you say we sing happy birthday to Ken? The whole audience sang happy
Amazing.
birthday to Ken. And we also, the night before, decorated his dressing room with lots of 50 stuff.
Guys are so sweet.
You know, we tried to make it special for Ken. He's not at home, but he's with his second family.
Does he
the
like
Jeopardy
being
family.
celebrated in that way?
I feel like he doesn't, but I feel like he was very appreciative of it.
Yeah.
I don't know that he's a guy that's like, I need to feel celebrated on my
Right.
birthday. I don't think that's him at all, but he was very gracious. And, you know, he was so excited about the dressing room. And in my head that morning, I was like, haha, you don't even
Tip
know
of
what's
the
in
iceberg.
store, buddy. But there were fun pictures of it on social, and he got so many great happy birthday wishes. We put together a little video you can see on our social channels as well. So, you know, if you didn't check it out, it's up there. Many people just can't believe they're older than the host of Jeopardy. That's a comment I saw a lot. I think because Alex, you know, we grew up with Alex. He seemed almost like our father figure more than our peer. So I think people now with Ken, they're like, wait, what? The host of Jeopardy is younger than me?
Right.
How's
Absolutely.
that possible?
Doesn't make sense.
Well, before we get into the week that was on Jeopardy, let's take a look first at this week in Jeopardy history.
All right, we come to Veronica Vicit Vatican. You had $9,200 coming into final. Your response, what is Albania? That is not correct. What's it going to cost you? Nothing. So you'll keep that. We'll add yesterday's score of 6,400, bringing you to 15,600, bringing us to Jennifer Quayle, who had 19,000 coming into final. Your response, what is Poland? That is correct. How much are you going to add to your score? 8,500, bringing you up to 27,500. Yesterday you had 14,500, so you're going to end up with 42,000. Sam Kavanaugh, did you come up with Poland? No, you did not. How much did you wager? Just $12. So you'll drop down to 20,388. Yesterday you had 38,000, which means you come up to a total of 58,388. Congratulations, Sam Kavanaugh. You have just won the Tournament of Champions. Welcome to the club.
It was on May 28th, 2021 when Sam Kavanaugh won the 2021 Tournament of Champions. And as you just heard, It was hosted by none other than our own Bussy Cohen. Sam, Jennifer Quayle, Veronica Vicevatican all competed in a 2-game total point affair, and in the end, it was Sam who took home the championship title, the $250,000 grand prize, the belt. Sam and Jennifer, of course, returned earlier this year for our Jeopardy! Invitational tournament. They both advanced to the semifinals. They were eventually defeated by none other than Andrew He and Amy Schneider, respectively. But wow, what a TOC that was, Buzzy.
Yeah, I mean, highlight of my life. Really. So fun. And it was great to be able to give those great contestants the TOC they deserved.
I feel like you knew in that moment that this was the highlight of, like, you were so excited to be there.
Yeah.
So excited to get that opportunity. And I feel like you just took it all in.
I really did. I really knew that it was a once in a lifetime situation. I remember on this day, this tape day, going out during lunch and, the stage is empty and just kind of taking it in.
Yeah.
So I love that I got the opportunity, and forever this TOC group
Yes.
will have a special place in my heart.
I wonder which of you thinks, more favorably about that TOC. Is it the champion, Sam Cavanaugh, or is it you who got to host it? It could be a toss-up.
It's a toss-up.
Well, it is time now to take a look back at the last week of Masters. We kicked it off last Monday with a tight game between Victoria and James. They went into Double Jeopardy tied with 5,200 points, but Victoria quickly lost 6,000 points in the first daily double. Then James just continued to build his score, and thanks to a 5,000-point daily double, he takes the lead heading into final, where he was incorrect, but that minimal wager allowed him to secure his first win of the semifinals. Just have to take a look at the stats for this game to point out when we say evenly matched, we mean it. Both James and Victoria 41 attempts, both 21 correct responses. 56% buzzer accuracy for Victoria, 51% buzzer accuracy for James.
Now, a lot of people might be calling out the fact of Victoria's zero wager, because if she had wagered everything, she would have won this game with 21,600. People are forgetting that it's all about these match points. And so she was being extremely strategic, because if she bets everything and she's wrong, she gets zero and, Amy gets the match point. It's all about the match points. I love that play by Victoria. Bravo.
Yeah, she's got her eye on the prize, and that is the finals.
Yeah.
Fans did point out that Amy was sitting during the last 2 semifinal games, and Amy went on X to explain, "It's a fact that I wasn't feeling well on the day we taped the semifinals. They had a chair out for me because I was experiencing some dizziness and I wasn't sure I could stand for a whole episode. But I want to be crystal clear. That's not why I lost."
Yeah. Amy is not going to blame any circumstance. She knows what she's doing up there.
Absolutely. Well, Ken spoke with the players after the game. Let's hear how James was feeling after the big win.
James, congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
You survived Victoria knowing antimony. Were you tempted to go big on the wager?
Absolutely not.
You're very happy with your one match
I'm very
point?
happy with my one match point. I was like, if I can win the game, great. But if I finish this game with one match point, I feel good about my position.
We saw the rare non-all-in from James Holzhauer on that movie Daily Double. Did the category change your approach?
I don't watch movies, Ken. I don't know how many times I have to tell you this.
And yet, James, you knew what an opera-related variant of Beverly Hills Cop would be
you
called.
didn't tell me that action comedy was going to be a theme there. That's the one genre I do.
I remember once asking you about your movie watching, and you said if it's not a Fast and the Furious movie, you probably haven't seen it. Have you branched out at all since then? Transformers movies? Or?
Transformers is not my speed, but Mission Impossible I'll delve into from time to time.
Ah, that's good. A little change of pace. Mm-hmm. Clear the palate for another Fast and the Furious movie. But you got away with that win, James. That must feel good.
Yeah, I like this Final Jeopardy clue, actually. It's one of those, hits you, oh, duh, as soon as you see the correct response.
Amy, I liked the guess of astatine because...
I liked it, too.
It did start with A.
Well,
it was not.
It came to me, and if I had wagered anything, maybe I would have reconsidered it more, but I was like, it's good enough.
There's nothing like that zero bet.
Yeah.
To put your mind at ease, right? The big question is, did you already get to Queen Bee on Spelling Bee today before Jeopardy?
I did not today, and quite frankly, I'm worried about it. The last 2, I'm not sure that I'm going to get there. So.
I was playing a lunch, and you have only 2 left?
Yeah.
I have 6 words left. I think you're still kicking my butt at Spelling Bee.
I'll take a win today.
And we do have an update on Ken's Spelling Bee status. So last week when we were taping on Wednesday, Ken mentioned that he was currently in the middle of another Queen Bee status streak, but was having a bit of trouble with the puzzle. He joked, "What am I doing here with you people while I'm floundering in spelling bee?" It's good to know he has his priorities locked up.
Yeah.
Well, in our second game on Monday, James, Yogesh, and Amy taking the stage for the last of our games in the semifinals of Season 2. James took a small lead over Yogesh heading into Double Jeopardy. There, they both found a daily double. They both go all in, but it was James who had the lead at the end of the round. All three players correct, James notching his second win of the night.
Well played, both James and Yogesh. Amy just, not catching her stride this tournament, but kept herself in it, holds her head up high. Really, I just want to say, again, Yogesh with a smart wager where he's not really putting himself in too much danger, but potentially seeing that James might bet zero with the same philosophy. Really love how he's wagering there.
Yeah, Amy Schneider goes home with a fourth place finish and $100,000. She did reflect on her Masters experience on X, saying, "James, Victoria, and Yogesh are incredible Jeopardy players. Competing against them was A, an honor, and B, a real wake-up call about the work I need to do if I want to reach their level. I wanted to make the finals for a lot of reasons, but one that might not be as obvious is this. I really wanted to represent my season 38 crew at the highest level. Matea delivered for us last year, and this year, I feel like I let them down."
That's tough. That's a lot to carry on your shoulders, but I think if anyone can do it, it's Amy. She really plays with such grace and poise, and she's someone who every time she's on the stage, she could be the winner of that game.
Yeah, I have to share one more thing that she said on X. "I'm so glad to have played Jeopardy long enough to learn and grow in the game. From my first run to the TOC to Masters, JIT, Masters, I have continually learned new things about the game and about myself. It's an amazing opportunity that I never saw coming. I'm even more glad to have met all the people with whom I've shared the Alex Trebek stage. Truly, 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 I can't say enough about how wonderful they all were, individually and collectively. Jeopardy people are my kind of people."
I'm getting teary.
I know.
So
I
sweet.
love that. They're my kind of people too, Amy. Loved having you in Masters. Such a great champion for us. And, I can't imagine how it feels for her. I know
Yeah.
this isn't how Amy wanted to go out, but we know we'll be seeing her back in the JIT. And it sounds like she's got her work cut out for her, and she's going to put it in.
Yeah. I think sometimes that wake-up call, and with this new pyramid, you can get that wake-up call and come back even stronger. So I'm excited to see what a fired-up Amy looks like.
This final score for James of 49,601 points is the second highest in Masters history, behind none other than Queen Victoria, who earlier scored 50,000 points in a single game of Masters. Another highlight of this game, of course, Henry Winkler talking about acting teachers. Yogesh really did well in this category.
Yeah.
Obviously a big fan of the arts, of theater, movies. It's always strong for him. I spoke with Henry when we were recording this category and just wanted to find out what it meant to him to present his very own Jeopardy category. Take a listen. Henry Winkler, you've been a clue on Jeopardy 15 times. The first time way back in 1992. A clue about how you wrote a clue. How is that possible?
A fraternity brother of mine, Jeff Goldstein, directed this show right out of college. He said, "We're having trouble finding clues," and I gave him one because I had just been in Switzerland. It became a clue about Zermatt.
Wow, we don't let people suggest ideas anymore.
Well, I feel very, very lucky.
You should. So now, you've been featured 15 times, but you've never presented your own category. Tell me about that experience.
Okay, so let me just say that Jeopardy's is a special way to speak. I just had to relearn my mouth working. It is so precise. It is a question with a lot of information, and then you've got to put it together like it's just flowing out of your mouth.
So we saved your category for Masters. We're asking the best Jeopardy champions about famous acting teachers. What's it like to be a part of Jeopardy Masters?
When my children were in high school or in grade school, Stacy, my wife, and my kids would watch Jeopardy and yell out the answers. And every night, the same time, after dinner, you would hear wow, I got it, just ring through the house. And I could never play it because I'm so dyslexic. So being here to be part of it, I now feel the circle is full.
And interestingly enough, you were reading through the clues and you have personal connections to some of the people featured in them?
Viola Spolin, her son was one of the teachers at Yale at drama school. And we did story theater. You had no costume really, no set, no props, and you literally created it out. If you needed a bow and arrow, you just picked it right out of the air. And there's a paddle, and now I'm in a canoe. It was amazing.
Somewhat like Jeopardy, you know, we've been on the syndicated version for 40 years. Your career spanning so many years, just like Jeopardy, people still love Henry Winkler and want more of you. What does that feel like?
I think it is an honor. I think it is a privilege that I dreamt about this, being in this industry since I was 8, and here I am at 78.
Well, thank you for being a part of Jeopardy Masters. Will you come back for another category?
No.
No?
I want to say this was like one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. And I'm going to keep it at 1.
Thank you. 1 and done. Well, Buzzy, we kicked off the
2-game total point affair.
On Wednesday, strong gameplay from all 3 finalists in the first game of the night, including a 10,000 plus daily double from Victoria and James, and an all-in double-up for Yogesh in final. This was anyone's game heading into the second game of the night, but Victoria came out swinging in that second game. 26 correct responses, a huge 13,600-point daily double. Victoria went into final with 34,000 points and an effective 2-day runaway, locking up the win to become our Season 2 Jeopardy Masters champion.
Well, hat is off to all 3 of these finalists, but especially Victoria. You know, we've talked about it before. It has been a while since Victoria has been on the Jeopardy stage. It's one thing to do kind of the style of quizzing that she has become known for since her appearance, which is very different than the types of clues that you hear on Jeopardy, and also away from the buzzer. And I think to come in and play at this level, we all knew that she could do it. The question is, would she do it? And she definitely did. So my biggest congratulations to my pal, Victoria.
Yeah, your fellow chaser.
Yeah.
Now, you know, another $500,000, the Trebek Trophy.
Oh, my God.
Yogesh finishing in second with $250,000. James in third with $150,000. Of course, he came in, you know, as our self-declared final boss of Jeopardy. I think my favorite moment in Masters for James was when at the end, when Ken went to James to get his response, he had said, "Who is Henrietta Lacks?" And then he put, you know, final boss death music. And when Ken asked what that was like, he was like, so I love it. He was bringing the humor even in his moment of defeat. This was a fun game in terms of celebrity categories. We had, of course, Jimmy Kimmel, and we also had Jason Kelce.
Mm-hmm. We know that our podcast producer, Alexa, is a big Jason Kelce and Eagles fan. So I was excited for her to have that experience. And I was excited. I thought he did a great job.
Yes, there's nothing I will enjoy more than hearing him speak about, push it good. Push it real good.
Yeah, maybe instead of Johnny Gilbert with rap lyrics, we should have Jason Kelce with rap lyrics.
People are saying it online. They're saying, give us more Jason Kelce on Jeopardy. And you know what? We're here for it, Jason. If you want to do more, we are totally here for it. Victoria wrote about her Masters victory on X. First and foremost, the 5 champions I was privileged to have the opportunity to play against and spend so much time with, Yogesh, James, Amy, Matea, and Matt, are all among the most amazing players ever to touch a buzzer. I'm really, really grateful to Jeopardy for taking a chance on inviting me back. I never expected to play again and would never have felt like I deserved it or was entitled to another shot, but I am immeasurably glad to have gotten it. Holy crap, it is amazing getting to see Ken Jennings, happy birthday by the way, do what he does hosting up close. He's juggling so many things, and he is one of the quickest on his feet people I have ever seen. Brandon Blackwell, Troy Meyer, Steve Perry, Roger Craig, and Sam Cavanaugh all helped me prepare for this, and I played so much better because of everything I learned from all y'all. I am genuinely overwhelmed by the love and the support I've gotten from everywhere. My friends, my family, the Jeopardy community, and people I don't know but who really love the show. Thanks for taking time to watch.
Victoria is also obviously getting a lot of love from fellow competitors and the Jeopardy community. Just want to shout out that James Holzhauer said huge congrats to Yogesh and especially Victoria for a brilliantly played final match. The trivia community and fans of The Chase already knew Victoria is the best quizzer in the country. Now fans of Jeopardy Masters know it too. Amen.
Amen. Well, another favorite from this season, Juveria Zahir. All hail the Queen. Victoria Day in Canada was Monday. Victoria Day worldwide is today. Happy Coronation Day to the best. And her fellow chaser and fellow study mate.
Yeah.
Do you call him a study mate?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Study buddy.
Her fellow study buddy, Brandon Blackwell, said, "There's virtually zero overlap between Jeopardy and the kind of quiz we do. But I could not be happier that the current best quizzer in the world is now also the current best Jeopardy player in the world. So proud of my big sis, Master of Masters. All hail the Queen." And let's just take a look back at Victoria's final stats. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready. I've been dying for this.
Highest score of season 1 or 2, 50,000. That was in quarterfinal game number 9.
Wow.
Highest daily double of season 2, 20,800 points, also in quarterfinal 9. 20 total match points, 5 runaways, 4 in the quarterfinals, 1 in the semifinal, 6 first place finishes, 2 second place finishes, and 257 correct responses. I do want to point out, people were wondering how the podium order was designed for the finals, and that's where your cumulative match points from
Right.
the quarterfinals and the semis come into play. That's why Victoria ended up in the champions podium, and she stayed that way all through Masters.
Yep.
Michael and I caught up with Victoria right after the big win. Let's take a listen to her interview. Welcome to this special edition of Inside Jeopardy. Michael and I are joined by our 2024 Masters champion, Victoria Gross. How are you feeling?
I am still absolutely buzzing. It's a mile a minute in here. I cannot believe any of this happened.
So when you woke up this morning, what was your... you've been a very in-the-moment player.
Yes.
You talked about it throughout. That
Yes.
You don't look too far ahead. You
No.
don't look, but I do believe, like, when you wake up in the morning before a big game,
Yeah.
you've got to think about your routine. You've got to think about what's going to happen. What was it like?
Truth be told, I woke up this morning feeling great. I messaged my training partners like, I feel really good this morning. And I think part of it was that I didn't feel a lot of pressure. I figured the worst case scenario is I lose to 2 great players and, get to come back next year. It's really not the worst thing in the world. But I was like, I just feel like I'm ready. I felt, energized. I didn't feel overconfident, but I felt like I was going to play 2 good games today.
Coming into this, what was your goal or what was your expectation, knowing who you were coming up against, knowing some of them you hadn't played before? Just what were your hopes and dreams coming into Masters
That's a good
2024?
Well, expectation and hopes were different. Hopes, I really wanted to make the finals because I know that the JIT next year is going to be absolutely loaded. I'm sure that some of the people who played there last year are going to come back. You're going to have Amy and Matt and Matea from this field. You're going to have some of the people who were in Tournament of Champions this year.
Yes.
It's going to be an utterly stacked field. I did not want to have to go back and try to, bushwhack my way through that field again. So my hope was to make the finals. Obviously, I really hoped to win, but, if you ask me, what's the biggest gap between 2 positions that is the most meaningful, I would say the gap between 4th and 3rd was the one that I really wanted to make. As far as expectations, they were pretty low. I think of this almost more like golf than like chess, in the sense that you have pretty minimal control over what your opponents do. I could try to buzz well. I could try to be careful about not going in on stuff I didn't know. I could try to be strategically aggressive and make good wagers. But ultimately, I can't control if I'm getting beaten in on the buzzer very much. I can't control if my opponents hit a daily double and make, a smart wager on it. These are things that I have limited control over. So in terms of having expectations, they were slim to none.
I have to point out that it's May 2024. As of December 2023, you didn't even know that you would ever have a chance to be back on this stage, to be sitting here with a giant trophy.
Most of January. I mean, my birthday's in mid-January, and I never would have expected to be getting a call like the week after.
And yet, in such a short amount of time, you were able to compose yourself, to prepare. Many people, I think, are just really wondering how in such a short amount of time you were able to come on the stage, win JIT, turn right around, come back and win Masters after not having been here for nearly 20 years.
Well, I wasn't in Jeopardy shape really, but I was in competitive trivia shape. I stay on top of current events and everything, for the chase, for the other trivia things I compete in. I study regularly. I had a lot of stuff to do to get ready that was Jeopardy specific, but in terms of just having a wide knowledge base for trivia competition, that's an everyday thing for me.
So this is your first 2-game total point of fair. You've never played one of these before.
Yeah.
And going into that, what were your thoughts about that?
It's so tricky because I've looked at, people have tried to run the numbers to figure out, is there a safe amount you can get on day one or a safe lead, or how far do you want to not be behind? And the answer is nobody really knows. Obviously, the further you are ahead, the better, but you can't win a 2-day final on the first day. You can come close to losing it. But even then, there have been people who have come from very far back to win.
Distant third, yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you maybe can't lose it. So basically, my goal was I ideally wanted to be no more than 10,000 off the lead. If I could finagle that. And I know that my bet in the first game was left me open to James making a big bet. You can't really predict what he's going to do in that position, so I figured I would just make whatever bet felt right to me. I figured it would at least for sure keep me ahead of Yogesh. Even if I missed it, which I did. My goal was to keep a pretty good pile of money in for day 2 so that I wouldn't be out of it.
Yeah, and it was Yogesh who made the more aggressive.
He did. Well, he had to in his
position.
position. Because, in his position, if James bets big and gets it, or if I bet big and get it, and he does a really conservative bet, he could find himself 30, 40,000 in the hole, and that's a lot to make up. It's not mathematically impossible, but you have to have by far a better day on the buzzer and with the wagering than your opponents do. That's a tall order in this field.
Were you surprised that James went for the smaller conservative wager? He's our all-in guy. Were you anticipating maybe he might go bigger?
I really had no idea what he'd do. I could see really good arguments for a lot of different wagers from his position. I could see an argument to try to, I suspected he would think I would go pretty small. I didn't know. I have no idea what he was thinking. So, that's an argument for going potentially big. The final Jeopardies have been generally very hard in this tournament. That's an argument for going small. And he had a good pile of money already. If he, basically stood pat, which is what he did, he couldn't be that far behind no matter what I did. So I figured worst case scenario, he bets big and gets it, and I bet small and miss it, and I'm way behind. But in that case, I deserve to get my butt kicked.
So it was a very close game.
Yes,
the first
extremely.
game, you had 21 correct responses. James had 20. Yogesh trailing a little bit behind with 13. But you seemed to get what you wanted coming out of that game. You sit in second place. You're in contact definitely with James at that point.
Yeah.
It's almost like a mile runner. You're on the shoulder at the half point.
I am
feeling okay.
De facto 3,500 behind for game 2 scores going in, because you can basically double your game 2 score. So I felt good about that was not going to be an impossible margin to make up in game 2.
And then in game 2, you really came alive.
Yeah.
How did that feel?
Oh my God, it felt amazing.
I mean, to know as it's happening,
once
you're doing the math.
Yeah, once I hit that last Stanley double, and I was like, it's too difficult with the amount that was on the board to really fully do the math. But I was pretty sure that if I kept it small, I was going to lock the game, and I felt triumphant. Oh my God.
Well, and locking in a game was something very familiar to you in this Masters. 5 runaways leading into the finals, and you found yourself in podium 1 because of all of your match points, cumulative top match points in the winner's podium. Was there something to coming into these finals in podium 1?
Oh, I mean, I kind of felt a little bit more comfortable from there just because I'd played most of my games from that position. So at least, I'm used to what's the angle of to look at the board. That said, I would have been fine wherever I was. I'm not terribly superstitious. But it did feel good to come in as, sort of the favorite, maybe.
Without a doubt, 47 correct responses between both halves of that game. Amazing. The daily doubles were crucial, but it was almost before that daily double, I think, as Ken mentioned in the postgame, it was gaining control with Parchment.
Yes.
Became a very, very big
And that
moment.
was an aggressive, I didn't know it. I figured it could be Vellum. I figured it could be, maybe, I didn't think it would be Papyrus. But I knew I had to go for it because there were so few places that the daily double could be, unless you guys did something crazy and put it in the top row, which I didn't think you would in Masters. You never know.
Yeah.
It would feel a little unfair. It would feel like basically a gift for whoever got that spot. So I knew I had to take the shot because if one of my opponents got it and doubled up, that's very dangerous for me. So I'm very glad that I took the shot there. I did not know that answer.
So Parchment, you got it. You see the daily double come. You see that you've hit the daily double.
I start doing math immediately.
James turns around almost in defeat in that moment.
And James, I think, saw the end of the game
He
at
knew.
that point.
Yeah.
He knew.
And so that was the moment. So
That was
really,
the
when you hit
moment.
it, you realized that that's when you were going to win
realized
it.
that nobody else had enough real estate on the board to catch me. So.
Must have been quite a feeling.
Oh my God. Yes.
Even better to know that in the audience is your family,
Yes.
is Nora.
Oh my God.
Your daughter got to see Mom.
The Hi Nora that I do the shout outs to, that is my 19-year-old. She is a delightful human being, one of my favorite people on the planet. I'm so proud of her.
And she's so proud of Mom.
She is, yeah.
I mean, to see her in the audience and watch Mom get our highest score in all of Masters, season 1 or 2, 50,000 points you pulled off in one of your games. I mean, you were just dominating in so many different ways.
Thank you.
At any point, did you think, I don't even have to work that hard. I got this.
No, oh my, are you kidding? No. I don't operate like that. I have far too much respect for the game and far too much respect for my opponents, who are incredible. I mean, I don't think I need to tell any viewers how good these players are, all 5 of them. Just fantastic. I never felt like I could take anything for granted until I had locked up, the next stage of the competition.
Victoria, I'm interested in the thoughts of another young woman who was, to some extent, in the room, that was the young Victoria that you referenced. You thanked your elementary
In high school, yeah.
and high school coaches.
Yeah.
I mean, what would she think
Oh my God.
of this?
She would have cried. I mean, I'm kind of tearing up right now. I skipped a couple grades in school. I grew up in a relatively small, I grew up in Macon, Georgia. I was a big old nerd and, really did not fit in very well. And my family watched Jeopardy every night. And, I'd shout answers at the TV. All of us would. We'd play things like Trivial Pursuit and other kind of nerd games together. My dad would play chess with us. This is every dream I would have had for myself as a young kid.
Knowledge is power, and knowledge is so cool, and you're proving that right here on the
Thank
stage.
you.
With power comes great responsibility. Because now you are the Masters champion.
Yes.
Only the second ever Masters champion, the first woman to wear that crown. what is the next year going to look
Oh
like
my
for
God.
you? I can only imagine the interviews that go beyond this. There are going to be more important interviews
What,
than this. Area.
Michael?
But
No.
beyond this, there are going to be other interviews. There are going to
Yeah.
be, there's going to be press, and you're going to get a chance to sort of like get a message out there.
Yeah. Just learn all you can. I will tell you that 10 years ago, I took a month off work that I couldn't really afford to take because I was having migraines basically every single day. And I was like, I wanted to see if something would help. I had to quit going back to school. I had to quit volunteering where I was volunteering. Basically, if it wasn't going to work or taking care of my kid, I didn't do it. I got back into trivia kind of as a way to maintain my sanity. I couldn't really stand up and work in the lab, but I could, lay down in my bed and read a book. And that's when I started really getting back into trivia. And it has been a total lifeline for me through all of that. And it's given me a wonderful community of people. So many of my friends came from, all the eastern half of the country, people who didn't have to be here, they chose to. And I'm so grateful to them for being my friends, my teammates, my training partners. I feel like the luckiest person that ever was.
257 correct responses in Masters alone. When you look back over these 9 episodes, is there a highlight? Is there a favorite moment? Is there something you'll be the most proud of in all of it?
Winning feels good, I imagine.
Winning feels really good. James doing the final boss death music. I will tell you, I don't remember the games after I play them. I won't remember specific answers until I see them again on TV. I'm very focused in the moment, and it's erased from my head when I'm done.
Well, you just expressed such gratitude. I want to express gratitude to you. Jeopardy, it's not only an elite competition for us, but it's also an entertainment, and you were phenomenally entertaining.
Thank you.
You are going to be loved by the American public
geez,
and by Jeopardy's viewers.
I'm honored. I'm honored to be a part of the wonderful tradition of this show.
You brought a couple of props, Victoria. I feel like there are some props we should ask about.
Andrew, he gave me one of his participation ribbons after the show.
I know,
was
that's
so
so
excited. I was so excited to get one. And then my friend Susanna, who was here, she made me a sash.
Wow.
Oh, we
that
got
says,
Oh, wait,
Yes.
upside down.
No, that's fine. That's good.
No, no. Is it upside down?
It's got to go this way.
Oh,
There you
that?
go. Over here.
Oh, the
There
beauty
we go.
goes.
Here she is, everybody. the Queen, our Masters champion. Congratulations,
So great.
Victoria.
Yeah, this was a surprise from my friend who brought it
love it.
today and held it up as I won. I teared up.
Fantastic.
You are our queen. You are our champion. We can't wait to continue to have you be a part of this Jeopardy community, this Jeopardy family. Victoria Gross, everyone.
And now, a quick word from our sponsor.
Selling a little or a lot? Shopify helps you do your thing, however you cha-ching. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. From the launch your online shop stage to the first real-life store stage, all the way to the did we just hit 1 million orders stage? Shopify's there to help you grow. From their all-in-one e-commerce platform to their in-person point-of-sale system, wherever and whatever you're selling, Shopify's got you covered. Shopify powers 10% of all e-commerce in the US. Plus, they have the internet's best converting checkout, 36% better on average compared to other leading commerce platforms. What I love about Shopify is how simple they've made it to grow your business. You can manage inventory, track payments, and view real-time insights all in one place. Shopify is there to support your success every step of the way because businesses that grow with Shopify. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/Jeopardy, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Jeopardy now to grow your business no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/Jeopardy.
Now, back to Inside Jeopardy!
Let's go back to regular Virginia Jeopardy, shall we?
Let's go, because it's an exciting week there as well. Grant DeYoung returned on Monday, going for his 4th win, but challengers Greg Meller and Yvonne Joe both gave him a run for his money. After the double Jeopardy round, all 3 players were within $1,500 of each other. But with that small lead, Grant comes up with the correct response in final and earns a 4th win.
Well, I was noticing that this was a tight game for Grant, which he wasn't used to, and Ken also commented on that in the post-game chat, didn't he?
Yeah, he was like, Grant, this was your tightest game yet. And Grant saying, no kidding. You know, might not have been his best game, but he's still tracking 4 for 4 in Final Jeopardy. That's pretty impressive to have a 100% Final Jeopardy rate.
A lot easier to win when you get Final Jeopardy right.
It sure is. This game also featured Garfield on Garfield with Chris Pratt. That movie, of course, the Garfield movie, came out in theaters this past weekend, doing very well. And this was just our writers being creative. We wanted to talk about Garfield the movie, but not in the way that you might expect. We wanted to do it a Jeopardy version. So it was Garfield talking about President Garfield. We even had a little animated thing where Garfield said, hey, President Garfield, that has a nice ring to it. But in Chris Pratt's voice and not mine. Fun to have those clues with him.
Kind of wild that the guy's the voice of Mario is also the voice of Garfield.
And Emmett from the Lego movie. I mean, he does it all.
It's a lot.
He's a busy guy.
Busy guy.
Well, Grant returned on Tuesday to go for that all-important TOC qualifying 5th win. He and Chris D'Amico were battling neck and neck throughout the game. Chris managed to take the lead on the very last clue of Double Jeopardy, which proved vital because all 3 players were correct in final. Chris defeats Grant before he could secure that spot in the TOC.
I always wonder, you know, here Grant played an amazing game, just $200 off the lead going into final, gets final correct. Is that a harder way to go home than just getting blown out? I don't know. You know, this is a thing where
Well, I would ask you more than you ask me. What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, I think you can hold your head up high knowing you played a great game, but I think it's also hard to be that close to the win and just have it be essentially a clue or two difference.
Yeah, Grant goes out 5 for 5 in Final Jeopardy, though. So impressive. And then Chris, our new champion, talked in the postgame, you know, when we were in rehearsals, I couldn't get in against Grant. So he pointed out that after the rehearsal, Grant went out of his way to come up to Chris and make him feel better about the buzzer. Chris telling us, Grant said, dude, just take it easy.
Yeah.
So that's amazing. Chris pointing out to Grant, you know, hats off, buddy. That was beautiful. Thank you very much. Grant was emotional and thankful after his loss. He said, I love quizzing, I love trivia, and if I get back here, that will be real cool. But I loved every moment up here, so thank you. I had a chance to talk with Grant after his run came to an end. Let's take a listen. Grant DeYoung, 4-game Jeopardy champion. How does that sound?
It's got a nice ring to it. I can live with 4.
What were your hopes coming into this experience?
You know, it's great to be here, but thought it'd be real cool to take 1. But you know, just being realistic, most people don't get 1, and most people don't even get to stand here or sit here. So you know, I was grateful for that. But you know, if you take 1, that's like, hey, you're a Jeopardy champion. You know, and
Forever.
Right. It's
for the rest of your life.
Can take that away, and let alone 4. Oh my gosh. You know. Wow.
Tell me about your journey getting on the show.
I mean, it won't surprise people. I think that I've watched my whole life. Grandparents who aren't you know, with us on this earth anymore, and then parents and family, and you know, it always kind of felt like a foregone conclusion. It's you know, Grant, remember this thing for when you're on Jeopardy, and it's never if.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll go away now, which is could be nice. We'll see. But it just always felt, you know, destined, or it was inevitable. And you know, it's good to be here now, and that it's real, and that it went as well as it did. You know, I'm happy with that.
So your friends and family members, you were always that person.
I was that guy.
Knew it, and you were going to be on Jeopardy.
yelling it out at the TV. My wife and I have compromised, so where I now only yell out the triple stumpers on the show, you know, the ones that no one else gets.
Only fair in marriage.
I think so. You know, it's about finding balance. So, and it's probably better for, you know, my voice too, to not be yelling things in the apartment.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and your neighbors. Yeah.
Right.
Final Jeopardy. You were really strong in Final Jeopardy.
I was kind of shocked by that. Not like consistently, but I would go through phases where I'd try to note, you know, how well you do each game. And I remember it had been a while since I'd done it. And when I got the call that I would be on the show, I went back and looked at this website that tracks some of that. And my Final Jeopardy rate was like 55%. And I was like, oh, this is not going to go well at all. So I am pleasantly surprised that I got all 4, and that feels like way more than I should have had.
Well, when Chris defeated you, he was the first one to say that you had given him some great advice during the rehearsal, actually helped him out. And I have to say, I saw you at the commissary helping out the other contestants on how to order their lunch and what to do. I mean, are you kind of known? I know you help people out at the grocery stores. This kind of your thing. You're like that nice guy?
Well, I don't know about nice, but, you know, I get it from his perspective, because I had done the same thing on the last tape day, where that first rehearsal had come up. And, you know, it's a chance to practice the buzzer. And my first group was the returning champion and then another really strong player who almost beat them. And it was the same as him there. I just remember, you know, clicking the thing and it's like, oh, I practiced this for hours and hours. Why is it not working now? And just feeling kind of rough. So I empathized with that, and I could kind of see in his body language that, you know, he was getting a little frustrated maybe. And of course, I'd, you know, had a lot of practice by that point, so I was doing a lot better, and I just felt like I needed to say it, like, look, it can be you. And I mean, that's kind of the whole, you know, point of the show is that it can be you in this podium as a champion.
That's our exact campaign right now. Why not you? I have to ask, as a 4-game champ, obviously, oftentimes our 4-game winners end up in the Tournament of Champions. What would it mean for you to be competing in our ultimate competition?
I mean, I wouldn't say no, just saying. You know, I know it is going to be a little luck-based at this point, but, you know, if this is it, you know, I'm still going to walk away happy. I can be at peace with 4 games and more even just that I was here at all.
Well, we're not going to let you go too easy, because we also have Champions wild card. So chances are we're going to see you in the postseason no matter what. So
don't take too long of a break is what you're saying.
Yeah, it's not goodbye. It's just so long for now. Congratulations on a great run.
Thank you.
Well, on Wednesday, Chris D'Amico coming out as our new champion and getting out to an early lead. But newcomer Amar Kakirde fought his way back and managed to secure a strong but not insurmountable lead heading into final. When we returned from the break before final, though, Chris's response was actually ruled incorrect, which lost him $4,000 and retroactively gave Amar a runaway win.
Yeah, that is always tough on those rejudged clues, but this was one that hats off to the writers for really pinning this specific enough to stand by this judgment.
Yeah, and you have to keep in mind that, you know, as the game is going on, everyone in the Jeopardy library is researching. Anytime, you know, any response is given that may have not been exactly what they're anticipating, they're researching, they're putting in the work, they're calling up to our head writers to say, you know, we got to stop down. Obviously, we do that before a daily double, but in this case, we do it on a break. And not great when it doesn't go the way of one of our players, but we have to make sure that we make the right calls, you know, as much as possible.
And, you know, hopefully maybe it helps Chris feel a little bit better about it, that it really didn't affect the final results because Amar was the only one correct in final.
And something that was just downright scary in this show was Ellen Klages talking about her scary ham. If you didn't hear it already, we're going to share it right now.
My dad was given a ham as a Christmas gift sometime in the late 80s, and it was a Smithfield ham, and you're supposed to hang them in a dry smokehouse for like 6 months.
Okay.
My dad hung his in a damp Ohio basement for 20 years. My sister and I inherited the ham, and I had to talk her out of lighting it on fire and having a Viking funeral.
I can't stop thinking about the ham, Ellen, I gotta tell you. I asked you if anybody ever tried to eat the ham, and you said not really.
Well, my father kept threatening that he would take it out to his golf club and the chef there would prepare a feast for his friends, and I kept pointing out that his friends were in their 80s and that they would die. And before we had the ham funeral, I actually tried to cut into it and I broke 3 knives.
Oh, wow, so maybe it wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah, it was a scary ham.
Was the ham funeral a burial at sea?
No, it was we threw it into a creek, but beforehand we For some reason, my mother had saved a shoebox full of used birthday candles. So we doused those with lighter fluid and set that on fire in front of the ham. And we had some stuffed monkeys surrounding it that we'd found in the attic.
Well, of course.
It was a good funeral.
That all makes perfect sense. That's what I'd do if I had a very large mildewy.
But I would not let my sister light it on fire. So if America wants to know more about the scary ham, Google the scary ham, and there's a long, long story about it.
It's like Deathly Double came early this year.
Oh, I think so. Spooky ham.
Yeah, maybe that's a costume inspiration
It could
for.
be. It could be. I could see you as a scary ham, Buzzy.
Yep.
Moving on to Thursday, all three players got off to a slow start, but a late push by Ummer earned him the lead entering final. Challenger Liz Sapu was the only player correct in final, but a $0 wager from her hands Ummer his second win.
This is a tight game, and there's a lot of interesting things happening in that final Jeopardy wager from Liz. I'd love to talk about it with you guys. She knows that Ummer has to bet to cover her. What I'm wondering about is why she didn't at least bet to beat his loss.
Yeah.
The negative one. Why didn't she bet $3,000?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is one of those things I will never begin to judge because I'm sitting at my nice, comfortable position, far away from this. My Jeopardy status is not hanging in the balance when I'm making my wagering during final. But so many times, I see the wagers come in and I just think, I wonder what the thought process was there. And I'm sure Liz is thinking this right
Liz,
now.
if you're on social media, hit us up. I'd love to know. One thing I will say is that, I think I've gotten smarter about the wagering technique since I was on the show. The first time I was on the show, it was a lot of vibes. It was like, how do I feel right now? How do I feel about this guy? Yeah, I'm a vibes guy. Like, it's like $7,000. I was just betting on vibes.
Betting on vibes. Well, we closed out the week with another late push in the double Jeopardy round from Ummer, earning his third win, this time in a runaway.
Yeah, very interesting that Ummer has either these very close games or the runaway status. With that rejudging, first game is a runaway, this one's a runaway. It's interesting that he kind of bounces between that as opposed to, kind of a little bit of a league. I'm interested to see if that kind of continues.
Yeah, and this is one of those games that doesn't really tell the full story because it was a runaway, but you have to look at Haas Karbalai's stats. 19 correct, exactly the same as Ummer. 38 buzzer attempts and 24 successful buzzes. That's 63% buzzer accuracy, even more than Ummer. He found 2 daily doubles but split them and was correct in finals. So this is someone I'm guessing
a second chance
will
candidate
be in the mix for second chance. We've talked about it. It's going to be a smaller field this season, so we don't have as many spots in play, but I have to think that he will certainly be in the mix. Well, now up, it's time for Host Chat. An audience member asked Ken, what happens if you do not respond in the form of a question?
Oh, boy. Do you know what hanging, drawing, and quartering is? No. The rules are actually different in the first and second rounds. In the first round, I get to remind them very sternly. I say now, yes, but please remember your phrasing. In the second round, I might give them a second to figure it out, and then I have to rule against them and say, no. It was Grover Cleveland, but you had to say, what is Grover Cleveland? So it gets meaner as the game progresses, just like life, you will find.
Of course, that one a reference to a clue in the finals of Masters. For signing a treaty with the rebellious Scots in 1323, the Earl of Carlisle met with this grisly 3-part or unpart punishment. What is?
Hanging, drawing, and quartering.
There you go, Buzzy.
Could it be hanging? Could it be drawing? Could it be quartering?
Could it be? Would it be? Is it? Any kind of question will work.
Yeah. Well, there is no question that we have to wrap up today's episode. Join us next week for game highlights as Ummer goes for his 4th win today.
Plus, we are going to celebrate 100 episodes of Inside Jeopardy and the 20th anniversary of Ken Jennings' first appearance on the Alex Trebek stage with none other than the recent birthday boy, Ken Jennings himself. You won't want to miss it. We'll see you then. This is the last week of our Explore Iceland sweepstakes. You still have 5 days to enter for a chance to win an unforgettable Icelandic adventure with our friends at Lindblad Expeditions National Geographic. Tune in to Jeopardy today because this is something you don't want to miss. No purchase necessary, void where prohibited. See official rules for details.
9-letter word describes what you should do to watch more great Jeopardy content.
What is subscribe?
Correct.
Still got it.